Hi, welcome to Bilingual Finance Fridays. How's everyone doing today? Buenas tardes, bienvenidos. Este es otro episodio de Todos los Viernes son para las finanzas. Aquí estamos, ahorita vamos a estar en Instagram con Diana Camino. Si los esperan un ratito. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Give us 1 second as we initiate all the platforms. All right, Diana. Here we go. Diana, I don't quite yet see you on Instagram.
Okay.
So right now, we're connecting to Instagram as we're currently live on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, and I am setting up to meet Diana.
Can you see me? Hi, everyone.
Let's see, on Instagram. This is an interactive event.
It keeps getting paused. Just give me 1 second. I think we're having trouble with the connection for Instagram.
Parenting tips that y'all have on speaking to your kids about money. So let's see. Okay. Who do we have on Twitter? Please make sure to comment. We're still getting set.
Hi, everyone. We're back with Finance Friday. Bienvenidos. Estamos ahora con Viernes son para las finanzas. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Solamente estoy esperando a Cristina. I'm just waiting for Cristina to join Instagram.
Today's conversation is all about. There we go. Today's conversation is going to be all about how we talk to our children or with our children about money. Hello, everyone on Instagram. There we go. Let me reposition myself so y'all can see me. Hola, Diana. Can you hear me?
Hola, hola.
Hola,
Sí,
hola.
I can hear you.
Happy Friday, everyone. It's Friday the 13th.
I was thinking of that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, everyone. So as I started preparing for this show, like earlier on the day today, and just as I was getting all the equipment set up, I lost power. So
it happens. I know.
Everything was just going berserk for us. Hi, everyone joining us on Instagram. We're so excited. We're also taking folks that are joining us from other shows, from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We want to make this as interactive as possible. We're going to be talking about the subject on kids and money. How do we talk to children about money? And I'm so lucky to have our expert financial coach with us today, that she's going to be able to share some tips.
Hi, everyone. Hola a todos.
Hola, hola. Let us know if you're joining us on another channel. If you're also on Facebook, if you could let us know and do an audio check for us, that would be wonderful. But what do you say? I think we're ready, ¿verdad, Diana?
Yes, we're ready. We're ready to go.
Okay, wonderful. Buenas tardes, everyone. Vamos a hablar hoy día de, un momentito. Vamos a hablar hoy día de cómo hablar con nuestros hijos de dinero, y le tenemos aquí a Diana, que nos va a ayudar con este tema de hoy día, ¿verdad, Diana?
Sí, so we're gonna talk about, how to talk to like kids depending on their age about money. So vamos a hablar sobre cómo hablar con nuestros hijos o con nuestros hermanos más pequeños acerca de dinero, de acuerdo a su edad.
Perfecto, me encanta. Y como siempre comenzamos nuestros eventos con un ancla, ¿verdad? Para relajarnos, para estar aquí en el aquí, en el ahora, en el presente, ¿verdad? Y estábamos hablando de qué tipo de ancla podemos hacer ahora con ustedes, nuestros amigos que nos están acompañando. So as you all know, we always start with a grounding exercise. That is our trauma-informed approach. And Diana and I were trying to go over like what grounding exercise should we go over today? Does anyone have an idea? Like, can anyone share who's joining us right now on what are some grounding skills you use to bring down some anxiety or worries or fears?
Yeah,
Maybe,
anything that you guys use.
yes, please share with us. So, anything that you do you do breathing exercises? What do you do when like anxiety or worry is like heightened?
Mhm,
I mean, I know
mhm.
we got company, so please share yours.
Anything that you guys do, like when you guys are nervous about a test or like about work, if you guys have to do something at work that is like a big project, what do you guys do to be able to ground yourself and be able to, not let anxiety take over?
Yes. Yes. And so for folks joining us too on the other platforms, what are the things that you do to relax, to bring down anxiety, to ground yourselves? For bigger, longer practices, right? There's yoga, there's meditation, right? But say, like right now, when you just want to be in the present moment, is there something you can do? This is an interactive space. Please let us know. Thank you for joining us, friends. A ver si tienen un tipo de ancla que usan. Ahorita es su momento para compartir con nosotros qué tipo de ancla usan para poder estar aquí en el ahora. Oh, I love it. Bloom up. A ver, ¿qué? Dice breathe in.
Um, Breathe in, hold, and blow. Yes.
Yeah, that
As
reminds me of the 7-Eleven, remember?
Yeah, and especially with like I feel like with all moms having their kids at home all the time right now, like I know sometimes like they need it for themselves too, so it's always good, especially because the topic of today is actually talking to your kids about money and making sure that we get them ready since they're very very young, because they're very smart, so you have to make sure we give them some knowledge.
Yes, thank you
um
so much. That is one. And who's Bloom? Do you know Bloom Up? Can you type in Bloom
Yes,
Up
it's
with
Barbie.
Barbie? Hola
She's one
Barbie.
of my friends from college. She's
Hi
one of my
Barbie.
friends from college.
Thank you for joining
Um,
us. I have a question for Barbie. Barbie, do you know about the 7-Eleven breathe in and breathe out approach? When you breathe in for 7 minutes, like you're literally inhaling for the count of seven, you hold it, and then you breathe out for a count of 11. Y'all want to try it? Let's try it. Wanna try it?
okay,
To
let's
bring
try
us
it.
right. Vamos a hacer un ancla que le llamamos 7-11 porque contamos, cuando estamos inhalando es para 7, contamos hasta 7, ¿verdad? Y cuando inhalamos contamos hasta 11, ¿ok? A ver, hay que hacerlos juntos, ¿ok? ¿Listos? A ver, hay que inhalar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ahora vamos a exhalar. 1, 2,
Exhale.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. ¡Tada!
Okay, we're done.
We're done. Yeah, we're here in the present moment. Ahora ya estamos aquí en este presente momento. Barbie dice it's now about 4-7-8 approach. Ooh, I like that. We're going to do that one next time, Barbie. Maybe
Thank
Barbie
you,
can lead
Barbie.
it.
Yes, Barbie does a lot of self-care, okay? So she knows so many of them.
Barbie, you are welcome to join us because I will get off and you can come on and do it for us. How about that? Okay,
So
so
good.
the topic of today, ¿verdad? Is how to talk with children about money, cómo hablar con nuestros niños sobre el dinero, ¿verdad? And before we get started, well, as we get started, I want to get started by sharing two really cute videos. Oh, Barbie's down for it.
Okay, Barbie, I'm talking to you about it, okay?
Yeah. So I want to share with everyone two really cute videos on how to talk to our children about money. And so here, I'll be sharing my screen. Here's one. 1 second.
Are we gonna be able to share it, Christina, in Instagram?
I think, let me see. Can you see it?
I'm able to see it on for I guess for our Facebook, but not for our
You were able
Instagram.
to see it on it. Can you hear it?
Um, no. Well, you know what? Maybe because
Okay, let's see. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Well, I think since I am not driving the wheel, I can't, like, since I'm coming on, And for some reason, it's just not showing us. Let's see. We're trying to show you a really cute video by Sammy the Rabbit. And Sammy the Rabbit it's a really cute character that teaches kids about money. And so you're currently, if you're currently on Twitter or any of the other platforms, you're probably able to see it. And let's see. I don't know if you can hear it. You can't hear it, can you, Diana?
I cannot hear it. Can anyone that is on Facebook hear it?
Here is Sammy the Rabbit, and for some reason, I am not. Okay, let's see. Oh, maybe if I bring it here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna flip my camera around. Can y'all see it? No. Here you go.
Yeah, we can.
Can y'all see it?
Yes.
It's such a cute video.
Come on, get on board, tell them what you're gonna do. We're gonna S-A-V-E, we're gonna S-A-V-E.
It's super cute. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm going to share for the folks that are joining us on other platforms. You were seeing the correct video. So let me now show you it. Okay, let's start maybe from here. So this is a really cute one from Sammy the Rabbit.
Come on, get on board, tell them what you're gonna do. We're gonna S-A-V-E, we're gonna S-A-V-E. Come on, join me, everybody. We're gonna S-A-V-E. Come on, join me, everybody. We're gonna S-A-V-E. We're gonna say.
Okay, here we go. So that's one. I'm here trying to navigate. Whoa, how catchy is that? Okay, let me set this back up. So that one is a little jingle from Sammy the Rabbit, y'all. And here, 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna take myself off, and Diane, I'm gonna let you handle the steering wheel as
Okay. Okay. So how did you guys like it? So Christina is over here trying to manage some of the tech. So basically the video that we show you guys right now is pretty much for even like babies all the way to like maybe 6, 7. So what we're showing you guys is how to make like, the money talk with, especially with little younger children, a fun one, right? Like obviously they don't understand sometimes one of the biggest concepts. So what we're doing, we're kind of doing it in a musical, fun way. Why? Because at the end of the day, this terminology will become more and more familiar with them as they're growing up, right? And we want to make sure as well when we're talking to kids about money, that it doesn't become something negative. Because I know that when we do have, like, let's say, like, not the best experiences in terms of like money, or we especially like if you yourself growing up heard like, maybe get negative connotations again, around money, like, there's not enough money, or like living in poverty, we tend to associate money to something that is negative. So we want to make sure that kids know that is something positive, and at the same time, and for them to understand that money is just another, is like a it's an asset or a venue to get something, right? So it's a way, it's like a tool to be able to reach that financial goal. So I think that's the concept that we want you guys to see, and for the kids to understand as well. So for it to be fun, interactive, you guys can add music to it. The one that we guys just show is actually a nonprofit. If I believe, right, Christina? It's an mm. And at the same time, they use actually them a lot, even like literally, even to like talk to like babies about money, which is funny. But like when you give them songs, you actually just giving them terminology for them to eventually, as they grow older, for them to start making the connection. So that's super important for us, for you guys to don't feel like the kids are too young, because they're never too young. There's always something for them to learn at each, age. And Christina just actually typed in right now in the other platforms and on Instagram the website for Sammy the Rabbit .com. And you guys can kind of see different things for interaction for kids right there. I know you love Davis because you love college. Yes. So while she's trying to figure that out, I want to give you guys some tips for kids. Oh, actually I haven't switched to Spanish, but I'm going to switch in a little bit. Um, so I want to give you guys some tips for kids, maybe like from 0 to like 3, 7. First of all, 0 to 3, like make sure that the term, obviously they're babies, right? Or they're still growing and developing. But remember, like we do have to remember is an important fact. Kids' brain develop like from 0 to 5 years is very essential. So that's why you kind of want to grab them as their brain is molding. So one of the great things, for babies is give them songs and like, show them even like toys that have to do with money. Just normalize it, and obviously according to their age. You're not gonna talk to a 7-year-old about like a mortgage, right? So we have to be like, we have to make sure that it's according to their age, and most importantly, because they're growing and they like to have fun and experience new things, you want to make sure that you make it that is something more like a game and fun, right? Because if you like sit down with them and they're like 3 to 5 and you're trying to give them like a classroom type of setting, they might not listen to you for too long, so you might not have their attention for too long. So voy a cambiar un poquito al español porque creo que se nos olvidó traducir. So estábamos mirando uno de los videos de una organización que le habla más que nada a los niños de finanzas, de dinero, pero acuerdo a su edad, que es bien importante, especialmente para las mamás ahorita que están también en casa con los niños. Entonces, pusimos el website en las otras plataformas y en Instagram, donde pueden ir al website para poder mirar canciones y cosas interactivas que son de la organización. Perdón, el motivo de la organización más que nada es para hacer una diferencia y hablarles a los niños de dinero a temprana edad. Entonces, a los niños de 0 a 3 usualmente tiene que ser algo interactivo, música, baile. Recuerden que los niños a esa edad están desarrollando su cerebro, ¿ok? Entonces, eso es importante. Ahora, de 3 a 7 años, que 3 puede sonar como muy pequeñitos, pero ellos ya tienen el concepto, ellos ya saben, si les preguntamos ciertas cosas, ellos tienen la habilidad de contestarlas. Entonces, ¿cómo enseñarle a un niño de 3 a 7 años acerca del dinero o el concepto de dinero? Una de las cosas es que nosotros les queremos preguntar, porque a veces a los niños en sí, cuando vamos a ir al trabajo, por ejemplo, las mamás que trabajan o si es el papá, no importa, cuando vamos, a veces no les, nada más les dicen, oh, voy a ir al trabajo, pero no le explican qué es el trabajo, para qué es el trabajo. Entonces, lo pueden hacer, los niños hacen muchas preguntas, o cuando los niños empiecen a hacer esas preguntas, ¿por qué trabaja mamá o papá? Entonces, hacer esa conexión, porque mamá y papá tienen que comprarte tus juguetes o tu comidita, para que hagan esa conexión entre que el tiempo que el papá no está iguala a dinero que se trae a la casa. Ese concepto que a veces ellos, como si están pequeños, tal vez no puedan conectarlos solos. Tenemos que ayudarles. Cuando vayan al banco, hasta hacerle, este es el banco, mira, aquí es donde tu mamá deposita el dinero, tu papá deposita el dinero, es el dinero que trabajamos. O si miran, están haciendo la conexión de dónde viene, cómo lo trajeron y a dónde lo están depositando. Entonces, cuando los niños van haciendo preguntas, es contestarlas, porque a veces si estamos muy cansados, dijimos, no, para nada, y tapamos esa pregunta. Entonces, no estamos dejando que el niño esté aprendiendo la conexión, que es bien importante, porque más adelante les voy a hacer la conexión con los niños más grandes y después con la adolescencia. Entonces, la otra cosa es cuando les estamos hablando de dinero, hacerle la conexión que si ellos tal vez hacen, les dan un poquito de responsabilidad en la casa de limpiar algo o algo, darles lo que llamamos la allowance o lo pueden hacer hasta de allowance o también como de comisión, o si haces esto te doy por ciento. Entonces, para que ellos empiecen a entender la diferencia de un dinero fijo a una comisión, ¿verdad? La otra parte es que ellos entiendan, y una de los de los de los favoritos míos es si agarran como un vaso, una jar que le llamamos, y le ponen que sea para ahorros, otra para gastos y otra para compartir, que la he mirado mucho. Entonces, ustedes cuando le estén dando su dinero, dile, ok, esto es para ahorrar, si quieres comprar alguna cosa, para que ellos entiendan que el trabajo iguala a traer dinero a casa, e iguala que no solamente vas a comprar todo lo que quieres, toma tiempo. Entonces, el ahorro, el de gastar, si van a hacer un gasto es decir, quieren algo ahorita, para que entiendan que al mismo tiempo que se ahorra, cuando ellos crezcan también van a tener que gastar en otras cosas, o no solamente es la parte del ahorro, es la parte del gasto y la parte de compartir, que más que nada el de compartir es como el dar, esa generosidad que es importante, ¿verdad? Entonces, cuando ustedes les están enseñando esto, les están enseñando el control de sí mismos, es decir, no ser impulsivos. Cuando nosotros somos impulsivos o hacemos decisiones, porque eso va a conectarse cuando crezcan, cuando hacemos decisiones rápidas, sin pensarlas, sin mirar las consecuencias en sí, no son buenas. No solamente les va a ayudar con su dinero, les va a ayudar con decisiones importantes que van a hacer en su vida. Entonces, es el control de sí mismos. Les está enseñando el concepto de el costo de la oportunidad. Es decir, si yo voy a ahorrar si ellos quieren una pelota por sí, voy a ahorrar para una pelota, tal vez me vaya a costar más tiempo si también quiero un carrito, por ejemplo. El costo de la oportunidad. Cuando compramos algo, ese dinero ya se fue para esa parte. Ahora, si quiero otra cosa, tengo que volver a hacerlo. Ellos conectan de que a la importancia de escoger. ¿Qué es lo que quiero escoger? ¿Cuál es mi prioridad en este caso? Entonces, cuando les hacen jarritas, ustedes les enseñan cuál quieres. Ustedes dejen que los niños escojan, porque ellos están desarrollando el tener decisión, el tener el control de sí mismos y el tener y aprender el costo de la oportunidad. Entonces, siempre que vayan a hacer algo, déjenlo que ellos escojan y siempre háganlo de un tipo como de juego. Entonces, nuevamente, les están enseñando la responsabilidad, la oportunidad de escoger. La otra parte también es recordarse que cuando el niño está escogiendo, estudios han enseñado también cuando les estamos enseñando desde pequeños que escojan ellos tienen más confianza en sí mismos porque ellos están pudiendo evaluar lo que ellos quieren, lo que ellos no quieren. Y recuerden también de aprender, que están aprendiendo lo que se llama la espera para la gratificación. No sé si unos de las mamás que están aquí han mirado ese challenge donde les ponen a los niños como una galletita y luego le dicen, oh, si te esperas 20 minutos te doy 2 galletas pero si te la comes ahorita solamente te doy una galleta. Lo que le están enseñando al niño allí es la oportunidad del esperar, de que si te esperas más, si tomas tiempo, vas a tener esa recompensa más grande. Entonces es importante lo que llamamos la decisión al esperar para ser gratificados. Y esto, cuando les enseñan esto muy pequeños, los niños hacen nuevamente en muchas decisiones de su vida, tienen más éxito porque saben la espera, la importancia de esperar, la importancia de entender que toma trabajo a lograr cosas que son buenas en la vida. Entonces, estas son uno de los juegos, ¿sabes? El de las jarritas, que son importantes para los niños de 3 a 7 años. Entonces, ellos también van a esperando que todo, en cierto, les están enseñando la responsabilidad. Eso es una manera importante de enseñar la responsabilidad en finanzas. Entonces, esto lo llevan ellos a otras áreas de su vida. ¿Ok?
Muchas gracias, Diana. Quiero ver si alguien está aquí porque es mucha información, pero es información con mucho valor, ¿verdad? Pero siento que si podemos tomarlos como en pasos, ¿verdad? Para que podamos como poder más comprender, como en pasitos, ¿verdad? Eso quiero saber si ahí tenemos amistades, amigos aquí que los están acompañando, a ver si tienen preguntas de lo que acaban de escuchar, porque sí, todo eso lo que los acaba de contar Diana es muy valoroso, pero no sé si deberíamos como cortarlos en pedacitos para entender, ¿verdad? And I also want to really quickly, mention that and pause in English so we can kind of digest all that good information, because Diana just gave us a wealth of important and valuable information on how to talk to our kids about money. Like Diana is the brain here.
And so I'll summarize it in Spanish and then I'll go into English so you guys can see the bullet points.
Yeah, and I want to mention, like, right before, because you mentioned, making this fun for kids, right? And so right before the summary, right, if we can I want to share this video for you,
definitely.
because it's a really great example of how to make it fun, make things fun for our kids, right? And so here's this video that my very good friend Deborah Carter Kelly put together, and here it is. And this is how to make it fun. Let's hear it.
Credit card debt, escrow.
So it's essentially an ABC song, but using
asset bonds, credit card debt, escrow, FICO, growth, high net, income, jumbo, knowledge loan, money note, payment down, over profit, qualified, yes, retirement, stocks, turnkey test, underwriter, variable interest rate, worth, year zero interest rate. And we have a date. Use funny phrases and catchy
So
melodies.
that's for a part of the curricula from Deborah Carter Kelly, where she essentially mentions that, this is like a really hard, little rhyme, a nursery rhyme, right, that she has for preschoolers. And the reason being is because, as you mentioned, Diana, kids are sponges, right? Babies can learn multiple languages, various languages when they're little kids, because they're little sponges, right? Their brains are sponges, and so they can learn a lot. And although like they may not understand, like, obviously, the definition of escrows and bonds at such an early age, the benefit of already having the vocabulary, right, is so invaluable, right? And so that's something that I really appreciate about and I'm going to mute myself before. Yeah, it's something I really do appreciate about Deborah's curricula. And she also makes it very fun with, with games, right, as well. So that's something that I wanted to share with everyone. Please comment and let us know what y'all think about the little nursery rhymes.
Yeah, let us know. So don't think, just kind of like, even like when scientists tell you guys, don't do like baby talk with babies, just tell them the words. It's the same concept. Just tell them. Don't be concerned about the definition. Eventually, they get familiar with it. They're very smart. They'll be able to connect it later on in life. And it's important for us to do it like as they're younger, so you guys can mold them once they become teenagers. Because we all know that teenagers obviously, go through a special phase. So you want to make sure that you do the best to your ability in terms of like really just making sure, more than anything, for children to have a positive connotation when it comes to money. Because sometimes, depending on parents' experiences, sometimes we might have like something negative to say, or like when we think of the word money, to kind of think of something negative if we were like, raised in poverty. So we want to make sure that we take that off and just see money as it is, and just see it as an asset to getting to that goal. So just kind of take that negative, out of it, or and just see it as something that is just a venue for you to reach your goals. I think that's something that we want to make sure we do. Because if we say, we always thinking negative, or saying stressful things about money, when they grow up, they're gonna make that negative connection with money, and kind of think of it as something bad or negative.
That's absolutely true. I mean, and it's absolutely right. And so what I wanted to mention in Spanish, so that song, the nursery rhyme, was in English, and I wanted just to mention to everyone where it comes from. Es de una colega, una compañera mía que se llama Deborah Carter Kelly. Ella es basada en Oakland y trabaja mucho con el distrito de Oakland, para las escuelas públicas, y ayuda mucho a los padres con los niños. Y pues ella tiene todo un como currícula, ¿cómo se dice currícula en español? Tiene todo el estudio, ¿no? Para los
El
niños.
estudio, el plan.
El plan de los niños, y pues esa es su canción. Y la canción es como un poco como, podemos decir, como difícil, ¿verdad? Porque es, en vez de, como es el ABC, ¿verdad? Pero en vez de decir, A es para, en inglés es A for Apple, ella dice, no, A es para assets. So assets son las, lo que tenemos de valor, ¿verdad? Y ella dice que es muy importante que, aunque sean niños, es muy importante que tengan el vocabulario desde chiquitos, aunque no entiendan el concepto completo, ¿verdad? Que tengan ese
Sí, sí,
vocabulario.
sí. Sí, así como dijo esta Cristina, y como dijimos en inglés, no preocuparnos tanto por la definición de la terminología o el vocabulario, que es básicamente lo mismo en ese término, pero enfocarnos en solamente enseñárselos como niños, como una canción, como algo normal. Tenemos que normalizar el tema del dinero, especialmente en nuestra comunidad latina, ¿verdad? Mirarlo para cerrar esa wealth gap, esa donde tal vez por la experiencia que hemos tenido en nuestros países, mirarlo como algo inalcanzable. Cualquier meta tenemos que quitarlo, y saber que los niños pueden lograr cualquier meta que ellos se propongan, no apagar esos sueños que ellos tienen.
Sí, I love that. Y tenemos amistades que los están, that are joining us, que están aquí con nosotros. How do you guys talk about money with your kids?
So for the ones that have your kids right now, do you guys talk to your kids about money?
Yeah, even a better question. Yeah.
So para los que están en línea, cuando sus niños pequeños hablan acerca del dinero o no lo mencionan o cuando les compran un juguete no tratan de hacer la conexión o ¿qué es lo que hacen ustedes? Porque tal vez eso nos ayude para darles también consejos de maneras de cómo hablarle a sus niños del tema de dinero.
A ver, don't be shy.
No tengan
No
vergüenza.
tenga vergüenza. Yo pienso que para mí como madre, ya que mi hijo tiene 21 años, right? Mi hijo, I have a son, he's 21 years old, and I was actually teaching financial education during my career, my first act of my career. And he would go with me to all my presentations that I was delivering for other practitioners to teach financial education for hardworking families, typically low to moderate income earners. And the financial education that we taught was very basic, right? But it was necessary. It was like the foundation of financial education. So he absolutely grew up with the language. But one of the things that I feel like I can take credit for is that by the age of 20, my son had a credit score over 750. And
that's great.
yeah, and he built that credit score without having any debt whatsoever. He didn't go into debt, building to have his credit score, to build his credit score. He did it using the tips and the tools that I taught him.
Awesome.
And I really drilled it into his head to not go into debt. It's debt is such a burden. It's
It
a
is.
ball and chain, right? And yeah, that is something he heavily avoids, is debt.
That's so great because you know what, now that you brought that up, Christina, even studies have shown that when we kind of like don't teach our kids about like delay gratification, where we always kind of like saying yes to whatever, if they throw a tantrum and you kind of you kind of purchase a toy for them because you're embarrassed at the store. Because a lot of moms say that, like, I just purchased a gift for the kid because he was crying and I was embarrassed. So when you succumb to saying yes and yes and yes all the time, studies have shown that these kids actually are the ones that tend to get more in debt because they want it now. So we want to understand that by you doing something for them all the time, like, you want to show them, because that's love, right? We want them to really understand it. So really loving them is making sure that you are helping them shape them into like adults that are grateful, that are saved, that are able to build wealth for their generation and for their community. So I think it's really important that that we say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay if you don't go to the store and the baby cries or the kid cries. You don't have to apologize, right? Like sometimes moms like feel like, oh, I have to do it, I'm embarrassed, but we need to stop doing that, right? Like kids are kids, and you guys have to do what you guys have to do to discipline them. So I think it's super important for them to say that you might say no, but there's a lot of things in life where people are gonna say no to them. So it's just for them to accept it and understand that we don't always get everything we want, right? And you're teaching them the opportunity cost too at the same time. So that's what we want to make sure that we teach them young, because you're not only just teaching them about finances, it's so many other things that come together with teaching them about money. There's other concepts and there's other things that they'll be able to transfer into other areas of their life.
Very true. Thank you for mentioning that. We have Priscilla here. I love how she says it on Instagram, PRI. Do you know Priscilla? Hi, Priscilla.
Yes, but
She says yes, but he takes it as a lecture. I love that, and I can totally, as a parent, like, I understand that so much, because they do. Like, everything that comes out of our mouths, especially when they're teenagers, everything is a lecture.
Yeah, and not only that, they have a good memory. So yeah, like once So I think like they'll teach it, but they know he's gonna be able to appreciate it as he gets older,
Yeah,
because he's gonna start seeing in other areas that people are gonna say no, and he's not gonna take it personal, right? Like we have to detach from that and understand that it's okay. And sometimes that no is gonna is like it's probably an opportunity for us to say yes to bigger things because we learned something when we were young. So what's what we're doing, we're shaping, and that's what it takes, right, to be a parent. Like uh you're gonna kind of hear like the lecture because they're very smart. They remember things, right? But it's a challenge, and is the way that you're gonna be shaping them. Is gonna is it's a process just like everything. But the most important is that they will be able to take this into their adulthood, and that's the connection that we're making. Because if we try to like kind of teach all of this when they become teenagers or when they go to college, you will see how challenging it is. Like they're already kind of shaped, they already, so it's more hard to kind of throw these concepts into them. They're like, they kind of know they know it all, and they they have the best, right, they know how to do the best decisions. So that's what is vital for us to start when they're like kids and kind of start shaping them as they're getting older. Because at the end, pretty much when they're going to college, it's kind of like it's pretty much, I mean, in reality, they're gonna start making their own decisions, right? So it's kind of like everything that you have, taught them throughout the years.
right. And it's definitely starting early. I read research, according to research and studies, it says that our children's our kids' personality, it's pretty much shaped by the age of 4 and 5,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so
Mm-hmm.
everything, and for me, it really was about values.
Mm-hmm.
What's our value set, right? And one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that early on I knew as a parent was that I didn't want to raise my son with this misconception about aligning his worth or feeling like he was worth something
Mm-hmm.
because of the clothes he was wearing, because of the
No.
labels on the clothes he was wearing. So very
Mm-hmm.
early on, I was very okay taking my son to consignment stores, secondhand stores, even when we could afford, brand new clothes. It
Mm-hmm.
just didn't
Mm-hmm.
make sense, and I would let him know like how it made sense in terms of our value set. It made sense to go get clothes from a secondhand store when he was still
Mm-hmm.
growing. Right, he was still
Mm-hmm.
growing, he was
Mm-hmm.
still developing. Why get, of course he would have some brand new clothes, at times, but it was never based on labels.
Yeah, of
That
course.
early on, like I never got him into labels because I didn't want him to feel like he was something because of the label on his
That
shirt,
he was
on his
wearing.
shoes, right? I wanted him
Mm-hmm.
to feel good based on who he was, on the creative person he was. And when we'd
Yeah,
go
of
to like
course.
consignment stores, he would pick out like really cool things. Like he was a trendsetter in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
He would wear
Oh.
skinny jeans and um, and yeah, he was a trendsetter, and he didn't care what other people said about him. He
Mm-hmm.
would wear what looked good, and he would style it up. And that I would say I'm really proud of, because to this day he does not focus on
The
buying
material. Mm-hmm.
label
Mm-hmm.
clothing or label things. He doesn't align his worth with that. For him, what's important is having no debt. So so
Mm-hmm.
he actually forewent. He did not accept his college. He got accepted to Penn State and to Rutgers, really great
Mm-hmm.
schools. But at the end of the day, he came to me and said he did the whole cost opportunity, cost benefit
Oh, that's
analysis.
so good.
It's like, there is no way, not where our society is right now. Like, there is
Mm-hmm.
no way I'm going to end up with a six figure debt
Mm-hmm.
for my
Mm-hmm.
bachelor's. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
if he did he did the numbers. He's like, I'm sorry, I love you. Like, you did everything for me to get here. That's just not my path. And he's thriving on his own. He's paving his own path, but it's truly based on that value of creativity, right? That
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
a sense of ownership of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that I really do recommend it, because that's possibly one thing that I can say I feel good about.
That's so good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's so good. And if you think about it and you go back, it's really, you started this very, very early, right?
Exactly.
Like, and it's not like, oh, you did it 1 year, because a lot of people are like, oh, I need to get him ready 1 year before he goes on to college. And he's like, no, this was supposed to start like when he was 0 months, right? And that's so important to make that connection that like that you having, he knows his value, he knows his worth, right? Like it's not about the brand that he's wearing, and just that confidence that he carries. And when you have confidence, when you know that when you are very clear of your values, when you're very clear where you're going, and when he's very clear of the opportunity cost, you feel secure and you feel good with your decision. And I think that's what we need to shape the kids to do, like today, to really start very early, for them to, when they go off to college and their careers, they remember this, they have it with them, they're carrying this with them, because you're not gonna be with them all your lives, right? They're gonna have to, go to work by themselves. You're not gonna be there. They have to go and apply, like, and we have to make sure that they have the tools to remember and understand, what's valuable to them, and how to be able to make the decisions, the pros and cons, kind of having those tools that we kind of use, we really need them all of our lives.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Bloom Up says, start early, take baby steps, and make it fun for kids. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. You mentioned a couple of times that I love this word, opportunity cost. Can you summarize maybe three tips on the opportunity cost effect, in terms of what are three effective things that parents can do for children regarding opportunity costs?
So one of the great things, especially to teach it to them, is really make them choose, right? Yeah, opportunity cost is really you telling them, from these three things, or these four things, which one do you value the most. So the great thing about it really is, and like I had mentioned previously, is kind of doing like a little jar, like label it: one saving, what is for spending, and one is for sharing. Like, we want to make sure that the concept of being grateful and being generous is there, right? Because the people that save, obviously are the ones that kind of can create wealth. The spenders they go ahead and move our economy. But the sharing and giving, that still, makes great things in our community. So we want to make sure that they understand the importance of saving, the importance of spending, because if we want to save all of our money, what's going to happen to our bills? We want to understand that we have to pay things, right? So is the saving, is the spending, and is the sharing part, or generosity, giving to others, being grateful, giving back to the community. So these three concepts are very good in terms of teaching them, because if they don't understand the concept of being grateful, sometimes we take a lot of things for granted. So we want them to really understand, that sometimes you have it better than others, being grateful, like counting your blessings. So same thing when it comes to saving. We need to save to be able to purchase things, to achieve our goals. And spending, we have to spend to be able to pay for our bills, for our homes. So all of these are the three main concepts. And I think that if we teach them this, we're teaching them definitely the opportunity cost, they're being grateful, they're being generous.
I love that so much, me encanta. Y quiero decir eso en español también, and please feel free to chime in, y'all, about the opportunity cost. And I just wanted to share really quickly in Spanish, the one thing that I feel that, I feel good about my parenting. Quiero mencionar y decir que lo que yo me siento orgullosa en como le eduqué a mi hijo acerca del dinero, fue que yo nunca le hice sentir que su propio como valor, ¿verdad? Su autoestima, quién es él, su valor de persona, nunca le hice sentir que eso está conectado a la ropa que tiene, a los zapatos que tiene, a la marca que esos zapatos, que sea la ropa. A mí nunca me ha gustado eso, porque la persona, el valor que nosotros tenemos como humanos, como personas, no podemos poner un dinero, right? Es priceless. Y pues yo nunca le llevaba como a comprar cosas de marca y siempre le llevaba como a las tiendas de segunda marca, ¿verdad? O de segunda venta.
Ujú, ujú. Sí, la segunda. Ajá.
Las segundas, ¿verdad? Porque estaba creciendo. Yo siempre le decía, papá, vas a crecer. Obvio, le compraba ropa nueva, pero nunca era por medio de la marca. Eso nunca me
Ujú,
interesaba a mí. Y lo que yo veo ahora, que ya tiene sus 21 años, ya es adulto, él no se enfoca en comprar cosas de marca. Eso para él no le importa. Lo que le importa a él es su creatividad y que él está creando, está haciendo música y él le importa y él se enfoca, si va a comprar algo, se enfoca que es lo que va a comprar le va a ayudar con su creatividad, ¿verdad? Algo que
ujú,
está haciendo en la vida, no en algo que él siente que, oh, porque tengo esta marca, uy, ahora soy de de la high, nunca. Y me encanta eso, y por eso también le digo a Diana que también a los 20 años él tuvo un crédito, un puntuaje de crédito de más de 750, porque yo le eduqué y le enseñé cómo crear su crédito sin ninguna deuda. Y
ujú.
también Diana los estaba explicando, ¿verdad? Del Opportunity Cost en español y los dio tres cosas, los consejos de cómo utilizar eso.
Si lo quieres que lo diga en español,
Sí,
Cristina.
antes que los cuiten aquí de Instagram, ya que
Sí,
los tienen.
ok. Okay, so el costo, básicamente el concepto que Cristina quería que les explicara un poquito también un ejemplo de qué es el costo de oportunidad. El costo de oportunidad en sí es que cuando vamos a tener, por ejemplo, tengamos dos metas, porque a veces nosotros vivimos en un país donde siempre es de todos los anuncios que hay en la televisión es de comprar, 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 ¿verdad? Entonces es como que le ponen un valor sentimental porque el marketing es muy bueno en hacer eso. Entonces, nosotros tenemos, lo que nos enseña es que a veces queremos todo, pero tenemos que escoger nuestras prioridades. Entonces, o por ejemplo, o compro el coche nuevo ahorita, o no quiere decir que no lo pueda comprar después, pero es qué es lo que voy a hacer ahorita. Es una meta a la vez a veces. O entonces tengo que escoger o compro el coche ahorita o me compro un usado y tal vez tenga más para otra cosa. Ese es el costo de la oportunidad, el tener que escoger. Entonces, Cristina dice, ¿cómo le podemos enseñar a los niños este concepto? A los niños de 3, 7 años que son pequeños, es una manera muy buena porque ellos son visuales y ellos quieren cosas como hacer algo divertido, es hacer como una jarrita, hacer 3 jarritas, una donde le ponen ahorros, otra donde le ponen gastos y otra donde le ponen para compartir. Entonces, cuando los niños están ganando su dinerito, si hacen responsabilidades o limpieza o cualquier sistema que ustedes tengan para darle su dinero a ellos, entonces cuando ustedes les dan, póngale que les dan $2 o $3 o $5, ustedes dejan que el niño escoja en cuál jarrita lo voy a poner. Lo voy a poner en la de para ahorrar, para si quiero un juguete, en la de gastar, porque quiero comprar algo ahorita, o en la de compartir, es decir, compartir más que nada, por ejemplo, si van como a la tienda y quieren compartir como una nieve con un compañero y comprarla a ellos, porque les estamos enseñando los 3 conceptos del costo de la oportunidad. Este dinero se tiene que dividir. ¿Y cuáles son tus prioridades? ¿Cómo lo vas a dividir entre el ahorro, el gasto y el de compartir? Estos 3 conceptos son importantes en hacer como las jarritas o los vasitos así, porque les están enseñando la importancia del ahorro, la importancia de que también tenemos gastos y la importancia de la generosidad y la gratitud de compartir con otros lo que nosotros tenemos. Entonces, por eso esas 4 jarritas. Pero ustedes no lo van a hacer la decisión. Ustedes le van a decir cada una para qué es. Entonces ellos van a empezar a hacer las decisiones en cómo quieres poner este dinerito, porque entonces cuando crezcan, la decisión es cómo voy a poner mis prioridades, pero lo están haciendo de una manera pequeña para los niños de acuerdo a su edad.
That's right. Muchas gracias, Diana. Bueno, los que llevan nomás unos momentitos aquí, can anyone, we just have a few more minutes, so anyone would like to chime in, give us, your tips for how, you talk, teach your kids about money. We'd love to hear it. I feel that within a community, when we have a community, especially a place like this that's culturally relevant and safe, we are more inclined to share. And I feel like we can learn from one another.
Mhm.
So please feel free to chime in. Also, you can view all of the episodes on other platforms like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And also, I'm super happy to mention that today, Diana, I don't know if you know this, I think we thought it was last week, but today was actually the premiere of Bilingual Finance Fridays on BCMTV. BCMTV is the Berkeley Community Media Television broadcasting station, and Bilingual Finance Fridays is now going. We are now airing pre-recorded episodes. So if you missed some of the episodes, you can now watch it on Comcast channel 26 at AT&T channel 99. And if you don't get those channels, you can watch it through bcmtv.org. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited, Diana. This wouldn't be possible without you, our expert financial coach.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure for me. And I want to do mention something before like we close because we didn't go into the teenagers, but the same thing applies to the teenagers. I'm just gonna do it quick because I know we can go on when it comes to finances. For the kids 9 to 12, or once they're older than 7, 8, 9, just remember that they really love allowance or or incentives. So and the same thing that what you want to teach them is the work, give, save, and spend. However, with them, what you can really do with them is really when it comes to even reading a book, you can actually tell them, hey, like, I give you $20, $10, whatever that is, for you to read this book and actually do a book report for me about what you learn about the concepts. Kids don't like sometimes, like reading boring books or when it comes to numbers, but they like incentives. So that's a really good way. And they really love it. So you can tell them to make sure that you hold them accountable. You can tell them to give you a report about it. So that way you'll read their little report, 1 page, it doesn't matter, but you'll know, we all know, I think moms know their kids. You will know if they read the book because if not, it's gonna be plagiarized. So you're gonna know that.
Yeah,
So make sure
I
that you
love
ask them questions. Ask them questions. So I do encourage, like, if you're gonna give them a book to read, and I can always, if you DM me, I can send you different material or different things for them. So if you wanna kind of see like what will be a great book for them, because there's a lot out there actually for teenagers. Like there's just a lot. It's just like, most of them, a lot of them, if you don't kind of like give them an incentive and it's not part of school, they might not read it unless they love reading. But so, and it has to be obviously because sometimes even if you love reading, that might not be like your thing about money. So maybe the incentive is the best part
Yeah,
when it
absolutely.
comes to them.
I had my son read Howard Zinn, The Real History of America. I think I'm
Oh,
butchering this.
okay.
It's one of those hard books, and it's a 400-page something book, and I
Oh
had him read
Lord.
it in school. And like
Oh
now
wow.
he's like, Ma, that book is nothing. Like now he's reading because in terms of
Right?
it's he's like he didn't even go deep enough, and so like in high school he went even deeper, with
Hmm.
because it's like one of those books. But yeah, I actually did. I had to I wanted to incentivize it, and I think that it's okay sometimes when you incentivize the right things. That's fantastic,
Yeah.
and a special shout out once again to Deborah Carter Kelly, because she is actually having. If you have teenagers, let me know. And I can send you a link to a webinar, telecom. I think it's a teleconference. Anyway, she's having
Hmm.
a teleseminar about how to talk to our kids, and not just about money, but about everything, right? It's just really,
Hmm.
how to navigate that relationship when they're teenagers. Yeah, it's really
Hmm.
important because they
Yeah, yeah,
change
it's
so
really. Yeah, so that's why you want to get them when they're small. So when they're
much.
getting older, because once they get older, they are, once you're giving them an incentive, it tends to have to be a little bit higher. So now make sure you start them young. So le estábamos diciendo yo y Cristina que para los adolescentes no tuvimos, porque con finanzas se nos va el tiempo rápido, pero con adolescentes es bueno si ustedes les dan un libro de manejar el dinero, obviamente de acuerdo a su edad, que hay muchos libros para adolescentes, y darles un incentivo para que lo lean y que les hagan un reporte del libro para ver, porque aunque ellos a veces lo lean y que a fuerzas o lo que sea, lo importante es que están absorbiendo la información. Entonces, cuando hacen el reporte, ellos están pensando en los conceptos y todo. La otra cosa, también hay muchos juegos como diferentes acerca del dinero. Es importante para que ellos hagan la conexión, porque todavía cuando son adolescentes están desarrollando su cerebro. Entonces, es importante agarrarlos todavía así de jóvenes antes de que ellos ya después sean adultos. Entonces ya básicamente son adultos, no les en sí, aunque les queramos decir, no quieren escuchar ciertas cosas. Entonces es importante agarrar a los jóvenes para que cuando ellos ya sean adultos siempre recuerden los conceptos y los valores que les enseñamos, ¿ok?
Sí, no sé, los niños, los hombres, su cerebro no desarrolla hasta los 25 años.
Sí, ajá. Entonces, ahí vamos a estar. Entonces, tenemos que estar enseñándolos porque todavía están desarrollando, pero lo más fácil para moldearlos es cuando son pequeños. Hacer juegos divertidos.
Muchos juegos divertidos. Muchas gracias, Diana. Si quieren, aquí les voy a poner el Instagram de Diana. Conéctense con Diana porque ella es una experta en finanzas. Ella le puede ayudar mucho. También es un real estate agent, un agente de bienes y raíces, ¿verdad?
Uh-huh.
Y pues así, aquí se pueden contactar con Diana por medio de Instagram. Siempre estamos aquí los viernes. ¿Qué tema tenemos para el next Friday, Diana?
Next Friday sería la comunicación y finanzas, creo, la comunicación y finanzas, sí. Sí, con Adam.
Con Adam. So va a ser la comunicación con nuestros
partners, con nuestras parejas.
Y va a ser Diana y Adam. Muy bien.
Yeah, so next Friday, we're going to talk about communication with your partner about money. So if you're married or if you have a significant other and you want to get him to listen to you, come. No, if you guys want to listen to each other, I shouldn't have said that way.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. I love it. Relationships and money, I love it. Muchas gracias,
That's
Diana.
a big thing. So you guys have to be here because we all need to know, because there's always like a spender and a saver in a relationship. So I think, it's always good for us to know because, that's a big part of the relationship, whether we like it or not. So, para el siguiente viernes vamos a hablar de comunicación entre parejas acerca de dinero, para que se vengan, se traen a su pareja, a su novio, a su novia, a su esposo, a su esposa, porque es algo importante. O sea, la comunicación sobre dinero es una parte vital en una relación.
Muy importante. Can make it or break it.
Yes. And we don't want it to get broken.
Yeah, exactly. We wish you all the best. So muchas gracias, Diana. I'm going to bounce right out here. I'm going to end this show for tonight.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night, everyone. Tengan un buen fin de semana. Bye-bye.
Ciao, everyone. Gracias.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.